Good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order the Parks, Rec, and Education Committee meeting for today, October 14th. I am Chair Stephanie Williams, and I'm used to looking at Erica Green, who tells me who to announce right now. And since she's not here, I'm just going to ask my fellow commissioners to introduce themselves for the attendance.
Anita McQuillan.
I'm Julie Elginer. I'm the vice chair.
Richard Sherman. I'm commissioner and also rep from the senior group.
Good evening. I'm Amy Haber. I'm the recreation manager and standing in for Director Green today.
Thank you so much, Recreation Manager Haber. We really appreciate you being here and keeping us on track. The next thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have our new, I'm hearing that are we not audio? One second. I did not hear that upstairs.
Are you having trouble with audio?
We are. The people in the gallery cannot hear. All right, how about now, y'all? Thank you so much upstairs. That worked. Okay, so I'm going to put our new, our appointed student member on the spot and ask if you would like to help us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, so if everyone could please rise. Thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda for tonight?
I'll move to approve the agenda for the Parks, Rec, and Education Commission dated Monday, October 14th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. And next, we need an approval of our minutes from the April 8th, 2024 meeting.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And our minutes from our April 8th, 2024 meeting are approved. I'm going to turn now to Recreation Manager Haber. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and fellow commissioners. Actually, I get to start off with the first item. Very excited to introduce everyone to Robin Strumloff, our new executive assistant for the department, working closely with Erica Green. There she is. Robin comes to us with over 30 years of experience with corporate leadership in the health sector, correct? And she has family down in Orange County. She travels to quite often. She volunteers at the Ronald Reagan Library, but it's actually the part that we've really enjoyed. We like a little spice in our staff and all of them, and we come to find out Robin rides a motorcycle. And she also spends time with her pit bull mix, Candy. And so between those two things, she's already a big hit with the department. We're very excited to have her. Welcome.
The next item on our agenda is our Capture Calabasas photo contest winners. If you have not checked out these pictures on the website, please go there. The talent is so impressive. I'm going to start. We didn't have a quorum at a meeting when we were going to acknowledge last season's winners. So you see here on your screen, first place in the category Open Spaces from last season was Monica Navarez. That's the Calabasas Lake. And then Josh Silverstein, Melissa Orkin, from our Community Services Department was able to capture this darling shot of the Tiny Tots and their 2-minute drill. And Debbie Major, I apologize if I'm saying her name wrong, took this gorgeous photo of our open spaces. And we should have one more from our community service department. Josh Silverstein, who many of you know coaches the kids and does many other things as well. So he won second place for that image. Thank you so much, Robin. And now we're going to turn to this season. And I know we have some of these winners here with us. So Courtney Peoples took this super cute picture of Calabasas Rec bringing kids together to make lifetime memories. We have, sorry, I have mine in slightly different order. Christopher Trifo, who won first place with a spring sunset at the Commons. And then Norman Schwartz for this gorgeous rainbow from Cordia Drive. And an open space picture of the beautiful ancient oaks by Allison Freebairn-Smith. I know several of you are here, so if you are one of our winners, please come forward. We'd love to give you a certificate and your prize and take a photo. Norman, thank you, and Allison, who I think is on the way from work, and Chris. And then let me give you also a prize. Okay, let me grab. I'm missing an envelope from Norman. And are we allowed to send them home with friends? The certificate and the prize.
The certificate, yes, they can take those.
Okay. Thank you. So you can have Courtney's. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Okay. And we're gonna let you. Okay, so let's take some photos of way closer together. Here, feel free to scooch in, and I'll come over here. We'll just make it. Oh, thank you.
Move down a
Yeah,
little
where's
more,
the Jason?
a little more.
Because we want our winners to be the center.
Right. That's exactly.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And next on our agenda is recognizing, and I have 3 speaker cards. It's not too late to put one in if you didn't yet. Recognition and celebration of Kimberly Post. So do we want to start with public comment? Okay, actually, yeah, we're going to start with Recreation Manager Haber, and then we will do public comment.
Good evening. So I'm actually really excited. Where'd she go? There she is. She's tucked behind. She's hiding behind there. I'm very excited and very proud to be able to share a little bit about Kimberly. Kimberly Post joined City of Calabasas as a recreation coordinator at Juan Bautista de Anza Park. At the time when she started, she was in charge of the sports and all of the adult and youth programming, which eventually grew to the senior programming. In 2016, she transitioned into the role of facility supervisor for the newly opened Calabasas Senior Center. It's where she was at when she created the operations, policies, procedures, and the standard guidelines that are in place now. Since then, she has expertly managed daily operations, coordinated all senior programs and events, supervised staff, and ensured the programs and services, and that they're, in a word, premier. 100 programs, or if you can imagine, 100 programs each season with an average of over 3,500 participants each month. Each month. Alongside her beloved senior programming board, she's created innovative programs such as the Tech Help and Caring Calabasas, which has received national recognition and awards. On a personal note, Kimberly, I've often referred to her as Spider-Woman, and that is because you have to kind of picture eight different legs all going at the same time. She is a multitasking master, and her creative side is amazing. And it's matched by her calm and compassionate demeanor, which made her the perfect person to lead the Senior Center these past 8 years. And on behalf of the community, we send our deepest gratitude for all she's done for Calabasas, and we wish her well. She will be missed by the department and by the community at large.
Thank you. Do any commissioners want to add comments?
Well, I've known Kim for quite a while. It's only been more recently that I've had the wonderful opportunity to work more closely with her. And boy, have I been quite impressed. Her commitment to those who come to the center, either as a member or just for the day, have been, she's so committed. She so cares about the people who come there. This is just a typical example of the Spider-Woman. We were there recently for an afternoon meeting, and within a couple, this rarely happens, but within an hour, 2 different attendees to the center there were accidents, and they fell. And she went out, took care of it, made sure the staff was helping, got the emergency team. 911 was called. Comes back to the meeting like nothing's happened. Goes back and forth. But that's typical of Kim. That's what she's done. While I'm saddened for the senior center that we're going to lose her, I know, and I've said this to her personally, I know that it's going to be great that she can work like 8 minutes or less from her home and be closer to her kids at school and continue to work in the similar capacity in her new job. So thank you for all you've done, and congratulations.
I'd just like to add and echo my congratulations. I had an opportunity to meet Kim a long time ago, 12-ish years ago. I was one of the very few women that were coaching in the Youth Basketball League, the highly competitive, highly engaged set of services. And Kim was everything from the registration process to the draft. If you've ever been part of the draft process, you would think that you are, engaging in the professional draft, navigating the personalities, making sure that the process is fair, making sure that people are fully engaged, all the way through running the program, and then ultimately, and a mark of that, and I think this really has to do with who Kim is that so many kids and coaches come back year after year. And I think similarly to what you saw with the senior program, that has to and speaks to who you are and how you address really sometimes some really challenging situations. So I would just want to say thank you and congratulations, and I've thoroughly enjoyed being part of your community for the last over a decade. So thank you, and I wish you all the best in this new role.
Thank you for the wonderful standards that you've set for our city. And I've heard, I didn't work with you directly, Kim, but I have heard so many wonderful things and so many people lamenting that you're leaving. But we wish you every success and joy, and just bring the beautiful person that you are to your new job.
And I also have known you for a very long time, long enough that my youngest, my baby, was remembered you from Dianza when he started helping at the senior center all those years ago, and was delighted that you were there, and would say to me, "Oh, Lois and Kim are gonna fix. You know, there's a little trouble with the senior fitness, but they've already got it taken care of." And he raved about your ability to manage a very complex and complicated system, and I know that the draft, but the open table seating for cards. I'm not saying it's as big as the NFL draft, but I'm not saying it's not. So I just think the way that you so artfully managed all of that for us and gave so much to this city, that as much as we are going to miss you, we are also in our hearts delighted that you will be closer to family. We're excited for your next steps, but of course you could, always come back. Just thank you so much. And we are not usually flush with comment cards at the pre, but in your honor, tonight we are. So I'm going to call up, in this order, Charlotte Meyer, Rick Young, Lois Julian, and then Carol Davis. So Charlotte, you're up.
As part of my presentation, my next session, I would like to give this to Kim, this is for you.
Can we leave them there?
I'm going to need to work out a little more in order to transport it, but it is
They're
for you.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're not from me. They're from the department.
Well, thank you. They're beautiful.
But I was asked to bring them up to you. But you're going to have to get them yourself.
That's a doozy. I'll leave them there to make sure they don't get knocked over.
Okay. Tonight, Kim, I want to wish you a very fond farewell. You were the shining light for us Savvy seniors for at least 8 years. I started at Dianza with you, and you shepherded us through a lot of processes along the way, and we always counted on you. You were really wonderful and helped us right from the very beginning. You had this unique ability, patience, to support all of our outlandish, precedent-setting ideas. And you were literally swimming in uncharted waters a lot of the time. And we were developing the programs that we enjoy today because you had our back. It was alluded to by the people up here that you have a tremendous organization ability, and you were able to schedule hundreds of classes. And every time a new brochure came out, you were there, and you were able to schedule classes and clubs and drop-ins and programs at the senior center. And you never overbooked, and you never underbooked. We never had a problem that we were looking for a room for the classes that were scheduled because you were so Johnny on the spot getting everything done correctly. At least I didn't know of any mistakes that you made. Okay. You wore many hats. If we needed I remember watching you. I said, what is she doing? She's carrying a game table. And we were short a game table. This was before we had the reservations for the game table, ladies and gentlemen. And she would go find a game table and bring it into the lounge area because there was no room. And she did that without, just like nothing happened afterwards. She just did it and she walked away. Like this was just, par for the course. Let me see. Okay, these are the adjectives that I thought of that describe you. You were always professional. And as was alluded to by many other people, I have an adjective for you, and it's called unflappable. We could have 911 there. We could have all sorts of problems popping up. Nobody would know about it because you handled it so quietly and so professionally. So I want to tell you, we're going to miss you. We counted on you. And we respect you, and we appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Charlotte. Next up is Rick Young.
Hi, I'm Rick Young. I have lived in Calabasas for 26 years, and I am a volunteer and a staff worker at the Calabasas Senior Center. I am very active with the Senior Center and our city, and I have had the opportunity to work with Kim as a volunteer and a staff worker for 9 years. Kim has been a pleasure to work with and for. With her guidance and the help of her staff and volunteers, our Senior Center has become nationally recognized for its programming and special events in our first 6 years of existence. We have been awarded 4 times nationally for our programming and our special events. Under Kim's leadership, the Calabasas Senior Center has not only survived very difficult times like COVID-19, but also flourished. Her guidance and her creativity allowed us to expand our classes, both in person and online. And she even expanded our programming to open in the evenings 2 nights a week. I want to thank Kim for all of her contributions to our city for the last 18 years of service and that she has provided us, our community, and especially our Senior Center. Kim, thank you so much for all you've done.
Thank you. Next is Lois.
Good evening. I'm Lois Julian. I live in Calabasas, and I'm happy to be on the staff of the Calabasas Senior Center since we opened. I want to both look at you and look at Kim, so if you don't mind, depending what I'm saying, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and forth. In the past 10 years, I've discovered that Kimberly Post is truly one of a kind. From the early planning stages for the Calabasas Senior Center until very recently, Kim has always been enthusiastic about the center and has followed her vision with all of her heart and soul. Once we opened in June 2016, Kim's engaging personality and special leadership qualities made her the perfect person to create programs and events, lead the new staff, and welcome seniors to the new facility. She always took the time to listen to whatever the seniors had to say. Now I'm going to use the same word that Charlotte invented. There's no question Charlotte invented it, but we all took it to ourselves. We have always called Kim unflappable. We use that word among ourselves and to others. No matter what was happening, she handled unexpected issues with calmness and authority, and the problems were soon resolved. As a staff member, it's important for me to say that Kim always respected the staff, and she led by her own good example. She always cared about every aspect of the facility. And importantly, there was nothing too much or too little for Kim to do. If coffee accidentally spilled on the floor, the first one to bend down and clean it up was probably Kim. Kim's leadership resulted in a comprehensive program with almost 100 classes each session, dozens of special interest clubs, and fun social event activities. Kim really made them fun, and she dances like nobody else. Our recent murder mystery dinner is a good example, with guests and staff dressed in 1920s outfits and a professional group pulling off a murder in the middle of a delicious catered dinner. The Senior Center is a huge success and the gem of our city. Kim, please be proud of the legacy that you leave behind. The Senior Center would not be the same without you. Its future success will be due to your vision, leadership, and guidance these past years.
And next is Carol.
Hi. I'm glad my cohorts were prepared. I'm not. All I can say is it's been a pleasure growing up with Kim. I didn't know anything about dealing with a municipality, and she didn't know anything about dealing with difficult seniors, myself included. And we both grew up together. That's been the pleasure of this whole exercise, is it's been meeting in the middle, from the top down and the bottom up, we met in the middle, and it's been a pleasure. And all I can say is, Kim, happy trails, as was the theme of your little going away luncheon, and we wish you well, onward and upward. We're sad to have you go, but we're happy to have you succeed in a new venture and learn new things. You've grown immensely since we first met, and it's been a pleasure to witness it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Do we have any other comments? Okay, well, thank you all for sharing. Thank you, Kim, again, on behalf of the city and everyone. And I'm informed we're going to take a picture. Come on up.
Go with the commissioners.
That's how it's done. Yeah, good idea.
With the flowers, yeah.
And there's quite a few of y'all who I think should come on up.
Oh, yeah, you guys should go.
I'm looking at you. And you. And you. And you. Come on up.
Come on up for the picture.
Lana, you could too, by the way.
There's a lot of muscle involved here.
I think that too, don't you?
Yeah, I think Jennifer. Should go.
Right.
I
think Jennifer did it.
Yeah, come on.
Jennifer.
Yeah, everybody associated with the senior center, come on up. Even if you're not.
Everybody I was
I think that's
Everybody squeeze in.
Oh,
You should be next. You should be next.
Squeeze. Just a little bit more. Those more squeezies.
A few more squeezes. All right, we're going to do the sideways. Sideways? Okay. I don't know.
Okay. All your poses. Looks good.
How comfortable everything started to feel again.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will definitely miss all of you.
You're in the wrong row. You're in the wrong pew.
Yes, do please.
I want to thank Commissioner Sherman for nudging the picture, which we absolutely couldn't have missed. My kids will be flabbergasted that I missed a picture opportunity. Next, we have announcements and introductions. And I don't know if we have any before we move to our new business.
I just have a commissioner comment. Can I say that under announcements? Okay, perfect. So unfortunately, Eric is not here and Jeff's not here tonight, but I still want to go on record as saying that I had the opportunity to take a tour of the facilities with them, and it was some of the best 3 hours that I have spent, and as of late, because it really, first of all, they're incredibly knowledgeable about the improvements that have been made, and it was a brainstorming session, what turned into a brainstorming session in terms of what are some things that we can be thinking about. Specifically, while we were at this tennis and swim center, I was able to bring in some of my experience at other facilities. It was just time well spent. So if you have not yet had the opportunity to take the tour with them, I could not recommend it enough. It was fantastic, really time well spent.
I just want to concur with what Commissioner Elginer said. I had the opportunity to go on the tour, and I also went with American Bloom, and we went to some of the same places. And the changes, the positive changes, and Amy is an integral part of those changes with the community center, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing the changes that have gone on. So I echo what you said.
So to that point, I was just going to say, as a suggestion, I don't know if we want to do this, but let me just put it out there. I'm wondering, with all of the innovations that have happened in our parks, if there might be, if we want to do like a come tour our new parks kind of a program where, you know, once a month for the next 4 months or something like that, we offer an opportunity for people to come and do just what we did. I think it was so well worth it. So that is one of my comments that I'll add. The next is, I want to say that the city and the Kevin Cordasco Foundation put on a phenomenal event a couple of weeks ago, and the 5K run, so well executed. It was primarily the organization that was running it, but supported by our city. And as someone who ran it and loved it, and I was really happy to see, because we used to have the 10K, the 5K and the 10K that, you know, the Calabasas Classic that was here for a long time and hadn't been in existence. So I just want to say enormous kudos to our city for working in collaboration with the Kevin Cordasco Foundation. So many, and Juana, you know, she stepped out, but the programming was just adorable. Like the little kids wearing capes and masks and feeling this sense of empowerment as part of the fun run. It was just a wonderful family event. So I want to just enormous kudos for that. And the last thing is I want to comment on the innovative programming that the department has been putting together over the last year and a half, but especially throughout this entire summer. We haven't met in person since April, but you know, all of the food trucks events over the summer, just a series of things that are planned for the fall, and whether they go remarkably well or if there's some adjustments that need to be made, I don't want that to deter our department from continuing to offer the programming. So I want to just call those 3 announcements out as part of it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I've visited Brandon's Park for the opening, and it is absolutely awe-inspiring. It is world class. I have never seen a park with so many creative activities, so many sensory activities, and for every single age group. It is absolutely beautiful, and I have to thank our team for the wonderful work they've done. Thank you.
Yeah, that was my comment, was, and we've had this conversation, that it's difficult to go to Brandon's Village and not tear up. It's so wonderfully beautiful. And whether you have children who are perfectly able-bodied or whether you have children who are neurodivergent, physically different, get them all out there. It's just such a beautiful place for all of our community come together. And I know, because I had high schoolers once, it's a special place to take your homecoming pictures and your prom pictures, and I have them of my boys there, and that's all awesome too. But take a minute to reflect on what that playground is and what it says about our community, and we owe an incredible debt of thanks to our team. I also wanted to say, I understand that when we had our pumpkin bake-off the day after Yom Kippur, okay, so it didn't go perfectly, but the idea was so good. And I hope that we will keep all those great ideas and the darling flyers and publicity, which I know I can look at you for. Just the innovation has been fantastic, and that's the first thing I've seen that didn't go perfectly, and I really think it was 100% the calendar. And so we'll make that note, and we'll try it again. But no, thank you for everything, and I think Commissioner Sherman has one more note.
And I was all ready to go buy some of the baked goods. And I just wanted to say, it's totally unrelated, but I wanted to thank Community Services Department and the city. Last Monday, there was a private event commemorating the 1-year anniversary of the attack on Israel. While it was a private event run by the mayor on their own time, and one of the council members, the staff pitched in so much to make it a success, and it was just, it was so impressive, and Amy was there, but there were so many other people, Kathy, and there are too many for me to recount, but even the city manager was helping putting up chairs and taking chairs down. So it was just to see the collaboration within the community of staff with the volunteers at a private event. It was just it was a very sad event, but it was quite impressive all that you all did. So thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is new business. I know we're all very excited about this one, appointment of our new student commissioner.
Good evening again. So I believe just a couple weeks ago, Chair Williams and Vice Chair Elginer had an opportunity to interview 2 candidates for the position of student representative. Our student committee member graduated and his term ended back in June, and so it was time to appoint another one to represent our local community students. And so the subcommittee is recommending Michael Bronstein. Did I say it correctly? Yeah. Yes? Okay. For your consideration to approve to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
I move to recommend the appointment of our new student commissioner.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. Come on up.
Maybe he can say a few words.
Have a seat. You get to sit there.
I'm excited to work with all. I'm excited to work with all of you guys.
Turn on your microphone, and then they can hear you.
I'm excited to work with all of you guys on whatever projects we work on, and I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to everything.
And we're very excited to have you bring us ideas that come from all the organizations you're involved with at Calabasas High School and in the community. And we know that you're going to be a really integral part of our commission, so thank you. We didn't have any continued business, so now we have committee reports.
I believe Arts Council, I don't believe we have anything today. Perhaps Senior Center?
Some of these things, I know, Amy, you can share with Erica when she gets back. The senior group, I'm just kind of like putting together some of the items that the seniors are concerned about. And one, which is, I think, has been mentioned several times, is that they want to make sure that the shade covering for the area behind the senior center is not forgotten, because I know it's with budget, budget constraints and so forth, it's not at the top list, but I think it's a top list of some of the seniors. And the second thing, and I know you don't know, but the seniors wanted to know with Kimberly Poe's resignation, what the timeline might be for the appointing a replacement. Maybe you know, I don't know.
I don't know the exact timeline of the replacement, but I do know that they're actively going through interviews in the process, so should know shortly.
And the final thing, which just an FYI for all the commissioners, that some of the seniors are concerned that that the title, Senior Center, may be a turnoff to especially those who might be near retirement age or just recently retired. So apparently there's a trend around the country to no longer use the term senior center. It hasn't really totally happened yet, because if you look at if you do a Google search of local senior centers, they're senior centers. But that's a trend. But one of the things that, and I know Kim's replacement will work on, is having a program or two maybe in the evening, so people who are working, for example, dealing with issues related to retirement, dealing with changes in insurance, leisure. We came up with a whole list of things that could provide maybe a 2 or 3 evening program, and maybe at no charge or very limited charge because I think some of the seniors are concerned that as they get older, and if there aren't younger new members. So I just wanted to make sure my fellow commissioners knew that that's something that is it's not exactly in the works, but it is in the works. And at some point there might be a survey that'll go out to poll the community. So okay. So such ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Our next committee report would be our student member, who I would guess doesn't have time to have come up with the report yet, but it's your time if you did.
Should I just talk about just cover what's going on with? I think something to highlight, considering the senior center was brought up earlier, is the Environmental Commission of Calabasas has been working with the club at Calabasas High School, the high school I attend, called the Bags for Benches Project. And basically what's happening is they're collecting plastic at different locations, and I'm one of the students involved in it. So there's five different locations currently. There's one at the district office, one at the high school, one at City Hall, one at the senior center now, and one at Fazio's Dry Cleaners. And I think it's been a really good project so far, involving all of the community, not just our high school. And with the new implementation of another collection site yesterday, it's been working really well so far. We already have, the goal is 1,000 pounds of plastic, and if we were to reach that goal, there would be a bench donated to our high school. And so far, we already have 130 pounds of the plastic, so a little over 10% of the goal. And it's only been a month into the project, and we've been working with various different locations to achieve that goal.
Michael, could you share more what type of plastic? I understand it's like the plastic coverings for newspapers, and not like a plastic jugs, correct? Could you explain?
It's type 2 and type 4 plastics, so simply it's just the ones that are stretchy. So Ziploc bags, wrapping around certain stuff usually works. As long as it passes like a stretch test, it's it's flexible, it's easy to be stretched. Those are the plastics that we accept. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next, I'm going to go to our director's report.
Yes. Tonight it's the rec manager's report. So on behalf of Director Green, who actually sent some information, she asked that we cover or share about the park projects this year and the updates. I am so excited to report that we have completed 9 major projects in less than 10 months this year. It is remarkable, and I do really appreciate the feedback and the comments and the support, because we do recognize, but it is quite an accomplishment for Director Green and her team. So just to share, that was 6 playground renovations, including the 6th one was Wild Walnut, in which we installed a brand new playground, as well as the dog park. That's a renovation that's been a long time coming, I know, years in the making. But we also, just so you know, we have new playgrounds at Freedom Park, Creekside Park, Highlands Park, De Anza Park, Gates Canyon Park. Now that we have Wild Walnut as well. So that's 6 playgrounds. Of course, you mentioned our beloved Brandon's Village project, which was a year and a half, I believe. It was about an 18-month project. It's now completed, although we do have just a little bit left, and we're going to be replacing the benches and the picnic tables fairly shortly. And we will open, I know a common question has been, when will rentals resume? So we'll open those up in January, allowing people to really just enjoy the park until then. We renovated the sport court, having come through and a community process in which we were able to add to the multi-use court. We added pickleball in addition to roller hockey and to basketball, and that actually created new jobs for hourly employees that we have. They go down and help assist, so we've been able to work out a schedule that's been really great. We get a little bit of time for everyone. Pickleball is very popular and ever growing, but we do see our hockey players at least 2 times a week, and we have an RFP out for a potential hockey league long term. Let's see. And then the pool, if you were there for the pool renovation, pool deck at 60-some years, the last time that concrete had been addressed, so they cleared it all out. Brand new pool deck. Everybody raved about it this summer. Gave a lot more expansive areas for the programming there, as well. It was just time. And then where are we at? That leaves us with the community center. My pride and joy. The Calabasas Community Center, which we opened in March, and we're currently going through a 6-month review. It's been an absolute joy to see. We have over 550 members for our gym-to-gym membership. We're continuing to expand our classes. We have the rentals program has been picking up. We've been really enjoying it. And then I will share that you all mentioned a few things. Is in addition to all of those projects, we also did, in fact, run over 40 different events, and some of those were very large scale, all within this 1 year. So that events team really did work hard. And our rentals program, we actually expanded, we restructured, and expanded it. So this team has been very, very busy. It means a lot to have you all note that. And I just want to compliment our leader, Director Green, and really say thank you to all of them. They've worked really, really hard, and it's really paying off. So thank you.
And can you talk a little bit about that small thing we have coming up?
Oh, sure. That's actually on our next item, which is the event volunteers. There's a little event coming up. This Sunday, October 20th, is the Calabasas Pumpkin Festival at Juan Batista de Anza Park. I'm very excited about it. The team has worked really hard. We have so many fun things for the kids to do, and all kinds of character interactions, and the list goes on. There is an opportunity, if anyone's available, we can always use a little extra help, both at our ticket booth or perhaps in one of our other areas. We do have, like I said, those character counters. We're actually going to put them out throughout the park. We usually kind of keep them very close, and we've got some fun creative. Having Juana and Vivian, our recreation coordinators, giving them a chance to just kind of do their thing has elevated. You mentioned the yellow at the Something Yellow event, the race. If you didn't see it, they covered it in yellow sunflowers along the course. And again, yes, they had all the kids in the capes. When they said Something Yellow, you came in, and it was just this gorgeous sea of yellow. And it really did just drive home the message. Everyone felt a little bit more a part of it. Likewise, when you see the Pumpkin Festival and all the personal touches, it's incredibly impressive. So if you have, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, could you share, I know, but the people who are watching don't, the time of and how much it costs in advance and how much day of?
Happy to do that. So the Pumpkin Festival, we do offer tickets at $10 rate. Up until 11:59 or 12 a.m. and dot of the 20th. So if people want to get the discount at that point, it becomes $15 per person. But that does include parking's included, all the inflatables are included, reptile shows, bands, music, all of that is part of the ticket price. The event runs from 10 in the morning to 5 at night. We do stop ticket sales and entry at 4:30. That is really important to note, so that people aren't disappointed, because it takes a while to get in there. Everything is on our website at calabasaspumpkinfestival.com, or you can also click on the City of Calabasas website main page, and it'll link you to the information.
can I just make a quick comment? So I want to encourage all of our commissioners to volunteer. It's a really fun event, but it's also helpful and important that we as commissioners wearing our badges are just part of the whatever the team needs of us, because they oftentimes just need an extra set of hands. The other thing that I tend to do, and I am not necessarily saying anyone should do this, but I find it helpful, is that I take really detailed notes on my experience, and I send feedback afterwards with the assumption or just the understanding of, in the spirit of making future events better and sharing best practices, I want to make sure that the team knows that I always have their back, and that there might be ways that we can consider doing some things maybe differently. And to a person, they have been open to that feedback. So they are obviously, our staff is inundated with all the operational things. And so just having an extra set of eyes, ears, hands that's representing the community can be really helpful. So I would just encourage all of us to be doing that.
Well, and I will follow up with that, saying something I volunteered at over the years has been sitting in the booth and taking the money.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not fun, except it's a blast. So there are volunteers who want to do this or that or the other, but I got to know staff members I had not met before. Every year that I've done that, I get to know our fabulous staff. It is in the shade, so for someone like you're in the shade, you get to know all the people who are coming in who are so excited to be part of the event. And so I really appreciate Vice Chair Elginer's comments. Volunteer if you haven't already. Please sign up for a couple shifts. They will put you to work where you're needed, and whatever job you get, which might not be walking around inside of a character seeing every child, and might be taking the money, and it will still be really fun. So, and as a reminder, you can do that at calabasaspumpkinfestival.com.
We do have opportunities for the community to volunteer as well, both youth and adult. That is through the website as well, under Get Involved. There's an actual page. And for all of you, if you're interested, I'll be hanging around afterwards with the sign-up sheet.
And Michael, that's a great thing for you to send out to through your networks about the youth volunteer opportunities.
I'll try to see if NHS can give service hours. We were at the Reyes Adobe I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and we were all there for a couple hours, and we led people in the arts projects. So maybe that's something I can ask, if they can get service hours to get some kids at our high school there.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Stephanie, may I add? I just wanted to, I had mentioned earlier about going to the different parks as part of the American in Bloom, and I just wanted to let everyone know that when you hear the term American Bloom, it sounds like it's just landscape and flowers, but it's and it's a national organization, but it's actually become more and more what goes on in the community. And this past year, the city of Calabasas won a couple awards, and in part because of all the work that community services did when they saw the incredible redo and renovations of the different parks. So it just kind of all fits together in such a wonderful way.
So back to park project updates. I often in the evening walk past Brandon's Park, and the atmosphere, there are so many young people in the evening going out and playing football, tennis, and the atmosphere, you just hear all this sort of joyful sound. And just to let you know that it's not just used during the day, it's evening as well.
Thank you. And then our next, do you have more?
Actually, may I just share real quick? So just a real quick fun thing about Brandon's, which was something we actually added this year, was the toddler side. I don't know if anyone's been out there. That was just a happy surprise. We did it with the trike path, and we just opened it up and then adding the turf, but it was the panels at ground level. And that was the joy of the day of the opening, was looking and seeing all these little tiny toddlers just going right up and engaging. And so that's been just an absolute joy. On that note, I did want to share that we have gotten some feedback. The new playground at Dianza Park, the swing set, there's concern about not having an infant seat. And so we have ordered one. It will take us some time because we can't run to the Home Depot on these things. But we are on that. So just in case anyone hears it, we're very aware and want to be sure we're responsive. So
there was actually a pretty lively conversation on Calabasas community page on Facebook about it. So I'll go back and respond to them.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
I think that conversation was about Brandon's Village, though. Was it about Dianza?
No, about Dianza and the exact swing. And a citizen had put up a photo of her 14-month-old in the swing and saying, this isn't okay. It's great that they have this, and I'm all for inclusivity, but she was concerned that smaller children would not fit on, and are not safe on them and uncomfortable.
I saw that about Brandon's Village, and those swings are not changing. Just to be clear. They are inclusive swings. They're adaptive swings. That's the point. They will be remaining. But thank you for addressing the Dianza Park one. And thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so our next item is the Kind Calabasas program, which I'm going to turn over to Vice Chair Elginer.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the genesis of this. Let me give you a little bit of a background. So most of you know, I'm a trail runner. I'm out on the trails often, and I found myself on the Summit to Summit Trail. I found myself on the Summit to Summit Trail in probably June, and there was a woman that I met, and her name was Anna, and she was single-handedly picking up trash. She was not with a group. She was not part of any initiative. She was just out by herself picking up trash. And I was so moved by this. She was probably someone that was a seasoned individual. And I stopped and spoke with her and just introduced myself and said, thank you. I just want to say thank you, that I so appreciate your willingness to do this. It's getting warm. She wasn't walking a dog. I mean, any of those other kinds of things. And so I spoke with her. And that experience, coupled with, I had the opportunity to travel to Paso Robles. And if you've been up to Paso Robles, it's a beautiful community. It's nostalgic of like old community, like small town America. They've got this beautiful area that's downtown, that's this wide open park, and they had an event there, and it was an intergenerational event, and there were many people that were there, and one of the things that the city was giving out was this thing called planting positivity. Okay, so I grabbed a sticker, and I grabbed, and they were giving out seeds to plant as well along with this, so it was called planting positivity. And the little comment the card itself just says, thank you for planting positivity. As stewards of community, you hold the seeds of possibility in your hands. Plant them with care, watch them grow, and let them remind you of the transformative power of the work that you do. Happy planting. And it was a combination of Parks Make Life Better, the Parks and Rec organization, and then some entity that was presumably part of the sponsorship. And so those two things combined just led me to wonder, in an era of epic loneliness, of a need for connectivity, of increasing divisiveness in our community, communities, I mean just in general, is there an opportunity to maybe create, either in partnership with our student commissioners, through our mayor's youth council, through something like that, a way to cultivate a Calabasas kindness program? Something similar, something simple, that people could just say thank you and have a way to recognize when others are going out of their way in our community to do good and to do positivity.
You might want to talk to Carol Davis, because because through the senior center, but it's grown way beyond that. There's an organization that they've created, Caring Calabasas.
Yes, I know that.
But it's really expanded. They've done some work in relationship with Rick Caruso. He actually came and helped the other week. So I think it would dovetail nicely with that, and intergenerational is something that they strive for as well. And they work with some of the high school students on different. They went from one project, I think, collecting glass cases and glasses, to multiple projects. So it may be something to dovetail rather than, you know.
I can actually share that Carol Davis has been contacted and is planning on connecting with Vice Chair Elginer, as well as one of our, we had a student group that had approached about doing some kindness programs. So they also will be involved. So great thought, and we're right on it.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I would love to maybe incorporate that into an art contest that we've been talking about for the Arts Council in partnering with the school district. So it'd be beautiful to see children depict how Calabasas is kind in their artwork. And if you'd like to, we can meet outside of here and talk about that.
And as a record-keeping thing, I would also like to connect that as the Arts Council report. That's a lovely idea, and I think it fits perfectly with the pre, so thank you. So that's the last item officially on our agenda, except for future agenda items. So do any commissioners want to add something to the agenda for the future?
Maybe about the Arts Council and collaborating with this idea of the Kind Calabasas program.
Yeah. And I also would like to add, we were talking a little bit over the years about representation of tweens and programming for tweens and girl opportunities in basketball. I'd like to get those items tickled back onto our agenda, that we look at opportunities that we're giving young women in our leagues, and just making sure that we're continuing to think about some of the stuff we did this summer. I thought was so wonderful for really reaching tweens. I'd like to keep that going during the school year.
Maybe at our January meeting, Eric can just say where that shade structure is as far as future planning and budgeting, and might it be in 2025 at some point?
I'd like to move to close the meeting.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.